Above the pale blue dot of Earth, a monstrous galactic fleet materialized, its arrival heralded by a cascade of shimmering energy waves. The vessels, numbering in the thousands, formed an unbroken lattice of metallic dread stretching across the horizon. These were not mere starships. They were leviathans of unimaginable scale, their surfaces bristling with glowing spires and oscillating arrays that harnessed the raw power of distant stars. Energy fields shimmered like rippling water, and the hum of engines, subsonic, alien, foreboding, seemed to vibrate the very fabric of space. Communication bands lit up with an unholy symphony of languages, each one interwoven with tones that only their advanced AI translators could decipher. The unified coalition of the galactic civilizations had arrived, each species contributing to this monumental show of dominance. Together, they viewed Earth as nothing more than a resource-laden rock, a backwater planet undeserving of galactic recognition. From their vantage, this was a simple operation, a routine extraction. In the fleet's command vessel, a structure resembling a massive silver citadel, the Supreme Commander observed Earth through panoramic viewports. The alien leader, encased in an exoskeleton of gleaming obsidian, radiated authority. Twin orbs of violet light flickered within their segmented faceplate, their gaze devoid of empathy. For centuries, the coalition had expanded, consuming systems, exploiting planets, and erasing resistance. Earth, in their estimation, was no different, an insignificant anomaly orbiting an average star. The Supreme Commander leaned forward, activating a holographic display that projected Earth's topographical data. A smooth voice, synthetic and clipped, intoned, "This planet exhibits no meaningful defensive capability. Atmospheric scans confirm rudimentary weapon systems. Resistance probability, negligible." Inside the commander's mind, a simple thought looped: another world to harvest, another species too primitive to resist. Though Earth had issued warnings before, claiming the Sol system harbored dangerous secrets, the Coalition dismissed these as hollow threats from a desperate, dying race. Warnings from a civilization barely capable of interstellar travel were beneath consideration. A subordinate officer approached, offering a shallow bow. "Supreme Commander, the planet has transmitted another message. Should we disregard it as before?" The commander waved a clawed appendage dismissively. "Play it. Let their defiance amuse us one last time." Across the fleet, the transmission echoed through every ship. A calm, human voice, steady and resolute, delivered a simple ultimatum. "You have one final chance to leave. You don't understand what you're tampering with. Earth is not defenseless, and this star system is not like the others you've conquered. Turn back, or face the consequences." Laughter erupted in the command bridge. The Supreme Commander's synthetic voice cut through the mirth. "Arrogant primitives. They cling to delusions of grandeur even in the face of annihilation." The coalition leaders, connected via a galactic network, shared their derision. In their private communications, they referred to humanity as the dust-kin, beings whose existence was destined to fade into insignificance. One leader quipped, "Perhaps we should leave one continent untouched, as a monument to their naivety." Ignoring the transmission, the fleet initiated their protocols. Massive mining rigs detached from the underbellies of the warships, their claws glinting as they descended toward Earth's surface. Gravitational stabilizers fired up, rippling the upper atmosphere with waves of distortion. Energy drills, capable of boring through planetary crust in seconds, began their ominous descent. Earth remained silent. No military craft rose to intercept, no satellites fired preemptively. To the Coalition, this was further proof of humanity's helplessness. Yet deep within the heart of the command vessel, the Supreme Commander felt a flicker of unease. The stillness of the planet was unnatural, disconcerting. No desperate attacks, no frantic broadcasts of surrender. Only silence. The commander shook off the feeling, trusting the calculations of their AI analysts. Humanity had no cards left to play. The world below the alien fleet was unnaturally quiet. No aircraft patrolled the skies. No missiles rose to meet the invaders. Cities seemed unchanged, their lights glowing softly as if unaware of the apocalyptic force hovering above. On the surface, there was no sign of resistance. Yet, beneath the calm facade, Earth was alive with purpose. Deep underground, vast networks of automated systems hummed with activity. Nanotechnology swarms, invisible to the naked eye, flowed through subterranean channels, maintaining complex defense structures. Gigantic AI cores buried within fortified chambers worked tirelessly, calculating probabilities and fine-tuning operations with precision. The machinery's rhythm was relentless, an orchestra of technology poised for one decisive moment. Above ground, civilian life continued as if choreographed, most of the population unaware of the intricate systems laboring beneath them. This secrecy was by design. For decades, humanity had prepared for a scenario exactly like this. The silence was no accident, it was a choice. Earth had learned long ago that survival meant hiding its sharpest teeth until they were needed. In a bunker buried miles below the surface, a select group of humans monitored every move the alien fleet made. Dr. Elena Marquez, a physicist with streaks of gray in her hair, stood before a massive holographic display of Earth and its orbit. "They've begun deployment," she said calmly, gesturing toward the red markers indicating the alien mining drills. Across the table, General Aaron Lee leaned forward, his face lined with years of hard decisions. "No deviations in their formation," he said. "Just as expected. They still think we're helpless." Beside him, a synthetic voice chimed in. "Probability of their detection of the anomaly remains below 0.01%, stated ARCA, the AI overseeing Earth's defenses. "Their arrogance is an asset. We will use it against them." Elena's gaze was hard. "Let's hope we've calculated correctly. If they adapt faster than anticipated..." "They won't," General Lee interrupted. "They've underestimated us every step of the way. That mistake is about to cost them everything." The conversation shifted to the anomaly, a singularity Earth had spent decades harnessing. Situated precariously close to the Sun, it was a feat of engineering and physics no other species would dare to attempt. "The singularity pulse," Elena said, her voice reverent. "A weapon born from desperation. A warning we hoped we'd never have to use." General Lee's expression darkened. "It's not just a warning anymore. It's our only chance. They're about to learn what happens when you back humanity into a corner." The bunker fell silent for a moment, tension thick in the air. ARCA broke the stillness. "Activating final protocols. Estimated time to full deployment, 3 minutes." The singularity was both humanity's greatest triumph and its ultimate gamble. Using a quantum anomaly near the Sun, scientists had created a controlled pulse capable of destabilizing advanced energy systems. In theory, it would disarm any technological advantage the Coalition possessed. In practice, it was a calculated risk, one that could render Earth uninhabitable if something went wrong. Elena's fingers hovered over the console. "This is it. They won't see it coming, but they'll feel it." She exhaled deeply and pressed the final sequence. Pulse alignment initiated. In orbit, the alien fleet remained oblivious. Drills descended further, piercing the atmosphere with mechanical precision. From the ground, the drills appeared as glowing spears, their tips enveloped in swirling energy fields. Inside the command ships, the Coalition leaders basked in their perceived victory. But in the vast emptiness near the Sun, a ripple of energy began to spread, a signal from Earth's anomaly. To the untrained eye, it looked like nothing more than a faint distortion. To the AI systems on the alien ships, it didn't register at all. Back in the bunker, Arca's voice echoed with calm precision. "Alignment complete. Singularity pulse ready for activation." General Lee exchanged a glance with Elena. "Once we do this, there's no going back." "There was no going back the moment they arrived," she replied. "This isn't about survival anymore. It's about sending a message." Lee nodded, his hand steady as he gave the final order. "Fire the pulse." The Earth remained silent. The fleet above remained blind. But the Sun had already begun to whisper a warning that no one in the galaxy would forget. The fleet's massive drills, each the size of a city, descended through Earth's atmosphere. Designed to tear apart planetary crusts with ease, they glowed with an eerie blue as gravitational stabilizers dampened the turbulence of their entry. Around the planet, the fleet's smaller ships formed a tight perimeter, ready to intercept any attempt at resistance. From the command vessel, the Supreme Commander observed the operation with cold satisfaction. "Primitive fools," the commander muttered. "Their silence speaks louder than any words. They surrendered without even trying to fight." The holographic display showed no signs of mobilization from Earth. Civilian infrastructure appeared untouched, and there was no evidence of military activity. To the coalition, this was confirmation of their superiority. One of the junior officers approached, their translucent skin glowing faintly in agitation. "Supreme Commander, we are detecting unusual gravitational readings emanating from the Sol Star. It could be a natural fluctuation, but unimportant," the commander snapped. "Focus on the operation. These anomalies mean nothing. Their star will continue to burn long after this planet is reduced to its raw components." As the drills reached optimal depth and began their work, the fleet's AI systems started to pick up faint energy signals, irregular and fluctuating in ways that defied their logic. At first, they dismissed it as background noise from Sol's solar activity. But as the signals intensified, spreading across the fleet's communication channels, the AI flagged the anomaly as a potential threat. The Supreme Commander waved the warnings aside. "More of their empty bluffs. These are remnants of their crude technologies, nothing more. Proceed as planned." The drills roared to life, and beams of energy pierced the ground. Moments later, the anomaly awoke. From the depths of the sun's surface, a ripple of distortion shot outward, invisible to the naked eye but devastating to advanced systems. The wave moved faster than light, enveloping the fleet in seconds. Time itself began to warp within the field, creating localized distortions that rendered communication chaotic. Ships in the outer perimeter reported their systems freezing or looping nonsensically. The AI controlling the fleet failed to process the quantum-level interference, its calculations spiraling into incomprehensible error messages. On board the command vessel, alarms blared as officers scrambled to make sense of the situation. Holographic displays flickered erratically, projecting ghostly images of the anomaly's effects. Ships were vanishing from their charts, only to reappear moments later in entirely different positions. "Report!" the Supreme Commander bellowed, their voice slicing through the chaos. "Impossible to determine," a technician shouted back. "Our sensors are fragmented. It's as if reality itself is breaking apart." The commander's violet orbs flared with anger and fear. "Redirect power to stabilizers. Compensate for the distortions." "It's no use," another officer cried. "The anomaly, whatever it is, has destabilized our core systems. We can't calculate a countermeasure." Panic spread through the fleet as the effects worsened. Ships collided with each other as their trajectories warped unpredictably. Energy weapons fizzled into useless bursts of light, and the massive drills hovering over Earth's surface disintegrated under the strain of the distortion field. The fleet was paralyzed, their once imposing presence reduced to chaos. Then, a single transmission cut through the noise, overriding every channel. The voice was human, calm and deliberate, carrying an air of finality. "We warned you. You chose to ignore us. Now you understand." In the command vessel, the Supreme Commander froze. For the first time, they felt something unfamiliar, dread. The transmission continued. "This is your lesson. Humanity is not weak, and Earth is not your prey. Remember this moment, and never disturb us again." As the words ended, the singularity unleashed its full potential. A final pulse surged through the fleet, collapsing their energy cores and erasing their ships in a cascade of light. One by one, the coalition vessels disappeared, consumed by the anomaly they had so arrogantly dismissed. In the silence that followed, Earth remained unscathed, a silent sentinel under the light of the sun. Humanity's warning had been delivered, and the galaxy would never forget it. The singularity pulse radiated outward, an invisible wave born from the heart of a calculated anomaly. To the untrained eye, The scene unfolding in Earth's orbit seemed like a choreographed collapse of the invincible, vast ships, towering drills, and entire flotillas simply ceasing to exist. To those aboard the fleet, it was the unraveling of reality itself. Energy cores, once stable and inexhaustible, flickered violently. The pulse destabilized them at a quantum level, forcing matter and antimatter into chaotic reactions. Explosions erupted without sound in the vacuum of space, their brilliance painting the orbital sky in violent bursts of color. Ships imploded inward before disappearing entirely, as if swallowed by the void. The fleet's advanced weapons, tools of conquest designed to destroy entire civilizations, were nullified in an instant, reduced to little more than glowing debris. The Supreme Commander's vessel, the largest and most heavily fortified, was the last to succumb. Its shields, reinforced by layers of energy fields, flickered like dying embers before the entire ship twisted in on itself. For a moment, its silhouette shimmered against the background of Earth's tranquil blue, and then it too was gone. In the aftermath, there was silence. The pulse had left no trace of the galactic fleet. The anomaly, its purpose fulfilled, reset itself, returning to its dormant state near the sun, a guardian ready to act again should the need arise. Earth's orbit, once crowded with hostile ships, was now a pristine void. Far below, humanity stood resolute. Beneath the surface, the hidden world of Earth revealed its secret strength. Humanity had endured centuries of hardship, wars that reshaped nations, climate crises that tested the planet's resilience, and near-extinction events that demanded unparalleled innovation. Each disaster had forged humanity stronger, more resourceful, and fiercely determined to survive. Earth was no longer the fragile, isolated world the galactic civilizations had assumed it to be. It was a fortress, layered with defenses that rivaled the most advanced systems in the galaxy. Cities on the surface massed a web of underground strongholds, each equipped with technologies far beyond what the Coalition had anticipated. Quantum reactors powered entire continents, and self-sustaining AI networks managed every facet of defense, strategy, and survival. This transformation was no accident. Humanity had long adopted a simple but powerful philosophy: we seek peace, but we prepare for war. It was a creed born from necessity, a lesson learned through centuries of conflict. While other species expanded through conquest and exploitation, humanity had focused inward, refining its knowledge and mastering its weaknesses. Back in the command bunker, Dr. Elena Marquez looked at the holographic projection of Earth's orbit, now devoid of the fleet's menacing presence. "They thought we were weak because we didn't strike first," she said, her voice calm but laced with pride. "But restraint isn't weakness. It's wisdom." General Aaron Lee nodded, his gaze steady. "They underestimated us because they couldn't see beyond their own arrogance. That was their mistake. And it won't be the last time someone makes it." Arca's voice broke the momentary silence. "Fleet remnants 0. Anomaly state dormant. All systems nominal." Elena smiled faintly. "And we're still here." Earth's story was not one of unprovoked aggression or reckless expansion. It was a story of survival against impossible odds, of ingenuity born from desperation. The Coalition had seen humanity's history as a weakness: wars, disasters, and struggles that painted a picture of a fractured species. But they had failed to see the truth: those struggles were humanity's greatest strength. The galaxy now knew what Earth was capable of. And though humanity hoped it would never need to use such power again, one thing was certain: if provoked, Earth would stand its ground. The remnants of the galactic fleet, what little survived the singularity pulse, limped back to their homeworlds. Fractured data logs and fragmented testimonies painted an incomplete but chilling picture of their defeat. Survivors spoke of Earth's anomaly, a weapon so advanced it seemed to defy the natural order. Galactic leaders, some of whom had dismissed humanity as insignificant, now convened in emergency sessions across star systems. In a chamber of polished obsidian beneath the gas giant Talos IV, the Council of the Galactic Accord assembled in chaos. Species of every form and origin argued in a cacophony of languages, their holographic translators struggling to keep pace. "How could primitives develop such a weapon?" one leader demanded, their form flickering between dimensions. Primitives? They outsmarted the most advanced fleet we've ever assembled, barked another, a serpentine being coiled in frustration. The Supreme Commander, now stripped of authority, stood silent in the shadows. Their failure was absolute. Even as reports circulated of the anomaly's existence, the Council declared Earth a death world, a term reserved for planets too dangerous to approach. A unanimous vote made Sol a forbidden zone, the coalition marking it as off-limits under penalty of annihilation. But fear was not the only reaction. Whispers of awe and envy spread among factions. Who were these humans, and how had they concealed such power? On Earth, the mood was a stark contrast. Cities illuminated the night with celebration, their citizens united by the knowledge that they had defied impossible odds. Across the globe, people gathered to honor the scientists, engineers, and leaders who had ensured humanity's survival. In the depths of a fortified bunker, Dr. Elena Marquez stood with General Aaron Lee and a council of advisors, reviewing the aftermath. "The question isn't if they'll come back," Elena said. "It's when. We bought time, not peace." General Lee nodded, his expression grim. "The galaxy now sees us as a threat. They'll either fear us or unite against us. We need to be ready for both." Discussions turned toward the future. Some argued for diplomacy, proposing to send emissaries to the Galactic Council to negotiate a truce. Others, including Lee, advocated for isolation, warning that any overtures could expose Earth's remaining vulnerabilities. "We can't afford to be naive," Lee insisted. "Strength kept us alive. Strength will keep us free." In the streets, humanity grappled with the moral cost of their victory. For all the celebration, there was an unspoken weight, the annihilation of countless lives aboard the fleet. The pulse had been a message, but it was one delivered in destruction. Philosophers, scientists, and soldiers alike debated the ethics of peace through overwhelming power. High above Earth's surface, the anomaly remained silent, its existence both a warning and a promise. As the sun's light bathed the planet in warmth, it seemed to whisper of a future yet unwritten. Humanity's resolve had been forged through millennia of struggle. Wars had taught them strategy, disasters had bred innovation, and unity had emerged from shared adversity. Earth had survived not because it sought conflict, but because it refused to yield. The narrator's voice resonated with quiet pride and defiance. "We are humanity, builders, dreamers, and warriors. For centuries, the galaxy ignored us, dismissed us as unworthy. Today, they know better." Images of a new generation of ships under construction filled the screen, sleek, powerful vessels designed not just to defend but to explore. The stars that once seemed unreachable now beckoned. This was only the beginning. "We do not seek war, but we will never shy away from it. We warned you once. This was mercy. Next time, it won't be."